Hi everyone, it's Dorothy from printcutandcreate.com, and I'm here with this week's hybrid video. This week we're going to be working on the computer, as my camera's not quite set up in my craft room yet. And what we're going to be doing today is I'm going to show you how in your graphics program you can take your photographs and create a Pyramage effect look with them. Now what you would do is you take your photographs, and we're going to create the Pyramage in the graphics program. Then you print it off, you cut them out, and then you stack them on top of each other on your project using three-dimensional glue, such as foam pads, silicone glue, or anything that will raise up the layers on top of each other. And when you're done, the layers of the photograph are stacked up and it looks like a pyramid. So we call it Pyramage, it's called pyramid, or it's also called stackers. So this is great to use on cards. You can use it on mini book pages, you can use it on full-size scrapbook pages, you can use it on any type of craft project that you want some dimension. Just something a little bit extra you can do with your photographs on your scrap pages to create a little bit more interest. So what we're going to do is you open up your image of choice, and right here I have a photograph, and this photograph is one of my own that I took on holiday in Biarritz, France. It's a beautiful, beautiful beach on the southwest coast of France. So what we do is we've got this image, and you want to resize your image. Now you want all your stacker pieces or your Pyramage pieces to be able to fit on in as little space as possible. One A4 or US letter size sheet, whatever size your printer is, you want it all to fit on that size. I've come up here. This size is really, really good for most projects. If you're working on smaller cards or smaller pages, you can resize this even smaller, but this is a good guideline to start with to create your pyramid, and then later on you can always resize all of them smaller if you'd like. So if you go to your image and your image size, what you want to do is you want to get your image size to around these numbers here, 1400 by 1000. Now when you resize an image in your graphics program, whether it be Photoshop, any of the Photoshop Elements, Paint Shop Pro, or GIMP, you're going to resize it, and you want to make sure it's resized proportionally. So that means whatever one number does, the other number does in relationship, so it all stays. It doesn't get wonky, it doesn't distort, so it all stays just in a normal scale. So if you leave it to around this will make sure all your parts will fit on an A4 or US letter size piece of paper or a photo paper, and you'll be good to go. So we've already pre-done that with our photo. Now you want to open up a new image, and again you want it to fit your printer, US letter or A4 like we use here in Europe, and just move it over to the side. Now what you want to do is you've got your photograph here, and you want to start off your first layer to be the photograph itself. So click on your Move tool, and that would be V as your shortcut in Photoshop. And now you can go ahead and move that or copy and paste as a new layer on your new image. And just move it up to the top. Please keep in mind printable borders if you have them, or if you're required to use them for your printer. Make sure you leave some of those borders free. Next, what you want to do is go ahead back over to your image, and you want to go ahead and select the whole thing. Now we're going to select the whole thing by hitting Control A, which is our shortcut on Photoshop, and we're going to go ahead and go to Select, Modify, and Contract. Now this number here, you're going to contract your selections. Anywhere between 70 and 100 work best on this size image. I've pretty much worked that out. Please bear in mind if your image is smaller that you'll want to contract by less. If your image is a lot larger than 1400 by 1000 pixels, then you want to go over 100. So we're going to do 80 just to make it nice, and there you go. It contracts 80 pixels. Your Move tool should still be selected, and you want to go ahead and add that selection as a new layer on your new image there. Just drag it and drop it over in Photoshop, or copy and paste as a new layer. Now you want to just repeat this process. Select, modify, contract, 80 pixels again. Go ahead and move that over. And then selections, select, modify, contract again, 80 pixels. We're done. There we go. And you just keep doing this until you have as many layers as you need. I suggest 5 to 6 for a nice pyramage or a nice stacker set. Of course, you can do lots more, or you can just do 2 or 3, whichever you prefer. But then you just put them all over. You've got them all over here. Arrange them so that they all fit together, and leave as little white space as you can. Go ahead, layers, merge, flatten. You can go ahead and print this directly from your graphics program, or save it as a JPEG and print it later on. Now, a note about paper. You want to print this on photo paper, whether you use glossy, semi-gloss, extra thick, whichever you prefer. I suggest a more thicker photo paper so that the stacks can hold up. If you choose really, really thin paper, it might be a little bit, it'll just be a little bit flimsier of might be better for smaller projects like cards and small mini album pages. But for a larger scrapbook page, you want thicker photo paper. So there's your first way of doing it. Now, your second way of doing it is you're going to use a marquee selection tool, and you'll want to hit the M for your marquee selection tool. Have it set to either elliptical or rectangular, whichever you prefer. So I'm going to keep it on elliptical, and I'm going to hit the Shift key and drag out my circle to keep it even. You can make it an oval if you want, or you can just make it a circle like I wanted it. There we go. Now you don't have to keep the circle in the center. To move your selection, just hover over it with your mouse still on the marquee selection tool, and you can move this. You can move it anywhere you want. You can have it up there, down there, in the center, or you can highlight one particular item in the photo, such as a person's face or something like that. And I'm going to highlight that rock. Now we go ahead and open up a new image. And we're going to go ahead and our move tool again, V, and you're going to go ahead and drag your new layer over there, and you're going to start creating your stacks. Now here again, we go up to select, modify, contract. I'm going to stick with 80 pixels, and then just drag that piece over. Selection, select, modify, contract, and there you go, you got another layer. And of course, select none. Oh, deselect. And we're going to go ahead and move that all the way over. So we have this all over there. Oh, there we go. And then again, when you add your layers, you're just going to stack them all up over top of the rock area, and then you'll be done. Now the last way to create a stacker is I'm going to use my beautiful daughter Aurora here, and it was on the same holiday in Biarritz where I took this photo, and I tweaked the photo a bit using some nice actions that created a pop of her face. So what we're going to do is this time we're going to use preset shapes. Now you can use any shape you want. What you want to do to activate your shape tool, you want to hit the U as your shortcut, and this highlights your shape tool. Now you can go ahead with your tools, and you can pick any shape that you like. It can be a bubble, but I'm going to use the heart. Now we're going to go ahead and draw out our heart, holding the Shift key down again, which keeps it proportional, and I'm going to draw out a heart. But the heart's not quite in the right position, so if you want to move the heart or change the shape or angle it, hit Control T to transform it. We're going to go ahead and move this a little bit, just so it's over more in the center. There we go. Set your transformation. And now what we want to do is another thing is when you've got your shape, you want to make sure it's set to path. And this up here, you've got 3 settings up here. Make sure it's clicked on the center one with the little pen in the middle. That is paths. Now we got it into paths, and we want to make your path a selection, and the keyboard shortcut to do that is Control Enter, and there you go. Now you want it back to your move tool, which is V, and go ahead and move your heart over. So you've got one heart stacker. Now, you can't, when you're using the shape, you can't go to select, modify, contract. In most instances, it won't work properly, because if we do it here and we contract it by, say, 80, look at that funky selection you get. So we're not going to do that. What we're going to do instead is we're going to undo the selection. We're going to turn it back into a path, and by doing that, you hit Alt, Control, Z or Z, and this will turn it back into a path. It's a step backwards or an undo, and we've done that now. Now what we want to do is go ahead and hit Control T again, and we want to transform this again. And what I've come up with is it's about 85%. If you reduce this by 85%, it stays right in the same exact place as it was before, and it just makes it smaller right there in where it was, which is perfect for this technique. We're going to set our transformation, and we want to go ahead and again hit Control Enter to turn this into a selection again. Our Move tool should still be activated, and now we'll drag our next one over. Okay, undo, Control Alt Z. Oops, not that one. This one. Control Alt Z, turns it back into a path. Control T, transform, change this again to 85% and 85%, and set your transformation. Control Enter. All the steps I will have written out. Back to your V, to your Move tool, and we're going to go ahead on our next layer. And I've kept on going. I'll write the steps out again in the blog post, but I've already done this with her, and we'll go ahead and open that. And that's what it'll look like when you're done all your parts. And again, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 layers. You could go one more if you want, but I figured that would be just her nose, and I didn't want a stack of just her nose. But her eyes, nose, and a bit of her mouth, that would be a nice stack. And so we've got it all set here. So we'll just layer, merge, flatten, print it off, and you've got your stackers. Now there's one more thing you can do, and that you can resize this before you flatten everything. You can go ahead and just join all your layers here together and resize them smaller so you can fit it on smaller projects. Now you'll see my project next that I made with it. It was at the beginning. It'll be at the end. And again, if you have any questions, just post them on the blog or the YouTube channel, and I'll be able to help you out. So thanks so much for joining me today. You all have a terrific day. Thank you for your time, and I'll see you later. Bye.